Today, we're having a presentation by one of our Senior Planet sponsored athletes. These are individuals aged 60 and above who are excited about fitness and were chosen by Senior Planet to share their experiences with accomplishing their wellness goals. Today's guest presenter is Senior Planet sponsored athlete Della Adams. Della is 64 years old. 12 years ago, after finding herself at the crossroads of a medical crisis, Della decided to make a commitment to fitness that altered not only her physical health, but her entire perception of self. Today, this is Della's second presentation to this group. The first was back in May when she shared weight training exercises for strong muscles and bones. Today, Della is going to delve into the benefits of body weight workouts that can help you boost strength and improve your overall health. So Della, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Hi, everybody. Hi, Kathy. I'm glad to see you here, one of our fellow sponsored athletes. So I'm going to start with just talking a little bit about my background for those of you that did not see my previous presentation. But yeah, I am 64. In about a month and a half, I'll be officially an elder. I'll be 65. So in January, I'm actually looking forward to that. So about 12 years ago, just like the intro said, I found myself at a crossroads. I had serious medical issues, specifically due to the fact that I was diabetic. And I mean bad, completely out of control diabetes. I was about 215, 220 pounds. I'm only 5'1", so that is clinically obese. And then because of diabetes, I had other issues. I had high cholesterol, I had heart issues, I had high blood pressure, you name it, I had it. But I didn't see the light until my doctor said, you know what, none of your medications are working for you anymore. And we're going to put you on this thing, this monitor that shoots insulin into your stomach whenever your blood sugar gets too high. And I'm sitting in the doctor's office and I'm thinking, well, I'm getting ready to die. And so my mother died from diabetes, complications of diabetes. So I knew what that was like. Then, like Kathy, I just dove headfirst into CrossFit. And I don't know who all knows CrossFit, but if you know anything about CrossFit, you know that it is extremely intense. Extremely high intensity, lots of strength, lots of endurance, all the things that I did not have. But my son was a CrossFitter and he talked me into it. Now, when I got started, and obviously being 200 and some pounds and sick and weak, I wasn't able to do a lot of things. But I stuck with it, and of course, changed my diet and all that sort of thing, and lost a lot of weight and completely reversed my diabetes. So that's a combination of exercise and nutrition, and I don't want people to get the idea that you can out exercise a bad nutrition or bad diet. That's not going to happen. And in fact, the first 4 months, I saw no progress whatsoever. Until I changed my diet. However, so the reason I wanted to do today's session with body weight is because I wish I had known at 12 years ago, as heavy as I was and as unfit as I was, that I had another option to move a little bit slower into exercise, get a little bit more comfortable. I had serious gym intimidation. I mean, there was all these young people there with lots of muscles doing all kinds of things that I couldn't do. And it didn't feel good. It didn't feel comfortable. So, but if I had known that I can do strength training and I can do high intensity training at home, that would have been a great thing. So that's why I wanted to, when they asked me, what did I want to do for my second session? I just wanted to do body weight. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen and show you what we're going to be doing, what I'm going to be doing today. Now, you can absolutely get up and follow along with me, okay? But mainly I'm going to be demonstrating. So let me, and because I'm old, I've got to put my glasses on to share my screen. All right. Does everybody see my screen? Hello?
Yes, we can, Stella.
Okay, great, thank you. All right, so these are the movements. I'll be doing some air squats. This is, everything here does not require any kind of gym equipment or anything like that. You may have some props, but they're easily found in your house. So air squats, tricep extensions, sit-ups, and I'll talk more about what they are, push-ups, hack squats with a foam roller, lunges, arm curls with a towel, laying glute bridges, Supermans, basically just back extensions, and lying leg raises. Now, for all of these movements, I'm going to share this document. I've already sent it to Senior Planet, so if they could either put it in the chat or send it via email to everybody who attended, that would be great. But for each one of these movements, I talk about a little bit about what muscles are you using, what muscles are you activating with that. For example, with the squats, you're obviously using your hamstrings, your quads, your glutes, and of course your core. With push-ups, you're using your biceps, your chest, your core, and your glutes, because you got to actually hold your glutes pretty tight to do a push-up. And for each one of these, for most of them anyway, I will have some scaled version. So if you can't do a full squat, what do you call RX as prescribed, there are ways to scale it. So for almost everything. And then if you are very new, a beginner to starting to work out, I've designed a 3-day workout program. You don't have to follow this, but it gives you a sprinkling of different things each day, and some suggested number of sets and number of reps. You can always change it. Instead of 3 sets of 8, you can do 2 sets of 5, however way you want to do it. But each day activates a full range of muscles. And I just think that, I mean, if you only did 2 days, that's fine. But 3 days is like the secret sauce to having some kind of consistency and making progress. Okay, so that's what I'm going to be doing. So let me get back to here and stop sharing. All right, so I'm back here. So now I'm going to do the different various exercises, and I've got a cheat sheet here of what I'm going to do. So air squats. All right, so a full squat. Let's see if you see me here. You see me? Okay, I'm going to turn to the side so you can see me, and then I'll turn to the front. All right, so, well, let's go to the front first. You have your foot shoulder width apart, all right? And you want to hinge at the hip at the same time that you go down, and pretend like you are spreading the floor with your feet, right? What you don't want to do is this, putting your knees together, okay? You also don't want to bend your back, all right? The whole point is to keep your back completely straight, hinge at the hip, spread your knees out, and go down as far as you can. And you notice my back, it's like a lever. It's completely straight. I'm going to come back up by pushing the floor apart. Okay? So you are never engaging your back. That's a lot of times, especially when you see my weights here, I do back squats. A lot of times people will get hurt because they're either arching their back or they're bending their back, right? Or they're not spreading their knees out, they're caving their knees in. As soon as you cave your knees in, you're gonna engage your back, okay? So, down as far as you can. Now, if you're not able to do that, your next is with a chair and you hold on to something, all right? That's your next scale. And you can push off the chair. All right? Your third scale, and I actually advise this for people who may have knee problems, or they're very overweight and there's a lot of stress on their knees, is basically just squatting to a chair. Sitting. Now, getting back up. Don't rock up, okay? Try your best, plant your feet, right? And hold your arms out so you're not rocking, right? And then push the floor apart to come up. And also when you come down, don't, come down like that, right? All your movements need to be very controlled. Okay? So that's the fundamental of a squat. You want to get as low as you possibly can without breaking your form. All right. So the next thing is really super easy, tricep extension. I'm going to use a towel. Normally, a tricep extension is done with a dumbbell. So what you're going to do is put your one hand behind you. You turn this way so you see. One hand behind you. And you're going to pull down on this hand, the lower hand, and pull up at the same time that you're pulling down and get a full extension. Let it go down, control movements, hold your glutes tight, hold your stomach tight. Okay? Does everybody see that? And of course, you want to switch arms. Now, is that going to be as strenuous as you using a dumbbell or something? No, but depending on how hard you are pulling down on the lower arm and then creating that resistance, you're going to move the tricep. Okay? All right, sit-ups. Now, hold on. I have an ab mat with a tailbone protector. You do not have to, but you need something under your tailbone, okay? So that, now I have a very hard floor. I've got what is called barn stall mats in here. It's very, very hard. You can also use a folded up yoga mat, but I like to use the ab mat, and this was $15.99 on Amazon. So, anybody can go get that. All right, so for sit-ups, you get on the floor here. Make sure you don't see me. Wait a minute. Tilt the thing a little bit. No, that's better. All right. So, a full sit-up, obviously, you're gonna have completely flat, right? And I like to throw my arms. And you want to come all the way up in a smooth move. If that is too difficult, if you have a piece of furniture like a couch or something like that, you can hook your feet underneath there, bring your knees up a little bit, and do a full sit-up. So it would look like this. So your knees are up. So that would be a scale to make it easier. If that's too much, maybe you haven't done a lot of core work, so it's a lot, even with your foot hooked under the couch. You can always do crunches or reverse crunches. So a crunch would be just, you want to make sure you're not bending your back a lot, all right, or straining your neck, just like that. So if that's too much, you do a reverse crunch, meaning you're going to bring your knees up you want to make it a little bit more intense. So I'm going to show you a little trick. You can do this with a dumbbell or with a towel. I'm going to hold the towel up like this. So now I'm not able to swing my arms to get that momentum. Pull the towel tight. Okay. I try to do those sometimes with a barbell. Now, that's really hard. I can only do it with those at a time. Kathy's laughing at me. Anyway, okay. So, air squats, tricep extensions, sit-ups. And then my least favorite are push-ups. But push-ups are one of the best things that you can do for a total body workout, total body impact, because it's going to do your biceps, it's your chest, your whole core is engaged, your glutes have to be tight in order to do that. But I'm going to show you the scaled versions first. The easiest one, I'm going to move my my nap top. You see me? Okay, is a wall push-up. All right, so you want to get as far back from the wall as you comfortably can, right? The key is to have your arms completely in front of you, not out wide like this, all right? Not low, not too high, just right in front of your shoulders like that. Keep your back straight. Don't pull your elbows out like that. Keep it perpendicular, right? So you want to go as far as you can. Now, the further back your feet is, the harder it is, right? If it's too hard, move your feet up a little bit. But keep your glutes tight, keep your core tight. Okay, so that's one way. The other way is on your knees. Now, you'll have to have some kind of pad or something for your knees. All right, so we're here. I'm going to use this pad. Same thing. You want to keep your back straight, all right, and not arched and not hunched over. But keep your back straight. Same thing about your arms is straight in front of you, right beneath your shoulder, right? Sometimes it's easy if you cross your feet like this, right? If you don't have your knees, you're not going to be able to go all the way down, but you go as far as possible. And you notice my back is straight the whole time. Okay, so a full push-up. Now, you know how you see those guys, the military people, and they're doing this right here, and they're not really coming down, and they're not really getting a full extension. They're not really activating all of the muscle. It looks good because they can churn out a whole bunch of push-ups, but it's not the full push-up. So, full push-up. I'm out of breath now. I like to start on the ground because that's what I need. Same thing, my arms are right, my hands are right under my chest, all right? And then I'm gonna go squeeze my back, squeeze my core, come up. Come all the way down. In fact, when I was in CrossFit, when I first started, it was so hard for me to do a push-up. I just didn't have the upper body strength or the core strength. And one of the coaches said, I want you to hit the ground slap the ground with your hand. And it was like, oh my God, it was magic, all right? So it looks something like this. Yeah. Boom. It made it so much easier. Okay. Let's see, what's next? Foam roller hack squat. So in the gym, there's a machine that you have a thing on your shoulder and you're standing in it and it's got weights and it pushes you down and then you have to push back up, right? This is creating that same movement, but at home. So I have this. It's a foam roller, but you can use a child's ball. It doesn't matter. You just need something to go against the wall that you can lean up against and go up and down on, all right? So it can be a ball. All right, I'm going to put it right under my back. I have my legs spread out. I like to spread it out a little bit further so that I don't cave my knees. The same principle applies to the, from the air squat applies to this, right? If you want to make it tougher, hold some weights in your hand, like a 1 pound can of beans or something. You can do that, or a water bottle to add some intensity when it gets too easy. All right, so what it looks like, go really far down. You want your glutes down, and then against the wall, come back up. It does the same thing as a hack squat machine. Notice how low I'm getting. So with this, unlike the air squat or a barbell squat or something like that, you actually work more of the quads, the front of your thighs. You see people with these big, beautiful thighs, with that muscle, they're working the front of their thighs with a squat. Whew. Okay. All right. Lunges.
Adela, if I may interrupt really quick, Sandy Joyner asked, what was the name of that pillow that you mentioned earlier, the one that folded open?
It's called an ab mat. Now, they make ab mats that just like this, right, without that part. But that doesn't protect your tailbone. So I got one with a, it's just called a tailbone protector, ab mat.
Okay, great, thank you.
Okay. But you don't have to have it. I mean, so many times I just bunch up my, I've got a couple of yoga mats. They're not thin, they're too thin by itself, so I just fold it over 3 times. Does the same thing. Okay. Okay, lunges. Lunges are my least favorite thing to do. And for the longest time, I was not able to do them at all. So I would have been really happy if somebody had shown me a scale version of lunges, all right? So one scale is, I have a PVC pipe here, but you can use a broom handle, you can use the back of a chair, it doesn't matter. Main thing is, okay, here's the thing about lunges. If I step out just a little bit and I try to do a lunge, it's very difficult, all right? So with the lunge, let me go this way. You want to make sure that you step out really far, right? Because with lunges, people tend to lose their balance, whatever. So you use something to stable yourself, create some stability. The foot that's going out, you want to make sure you step out far. All right? You step out far, then your back foot comes down on the ball of your feet, and you're going to actually come up, push off on the ball of your feet. You're not going to, on your front foot, try to push off. It is actually the back trailing foot that you're pushing off the ball of your feet. I hope that makes sense. I'll just do a few more. All right, so I'm going to use this to stable. Step out far. Now, also too, I'm going all the way down to the ground. You don't have to. Go as far as you can. So if you're going to do this, you do this. And you're helping yourself come up with this broom handle or PVC pipe or the back of the chair. Okay? So that is a scale. One is to use something to help you get stabilized. The other is to not go down as far. Now, obviously, you want to alternate your legs. You can do all 8 reps on one leg and then do another 8 reps, or you can alternate. But don't like do 6 and then 5 on this leg. You want to make sure you get this even, all right? So if you're going to do a regular lunge, this is where stability and balance really comes into play because you don't have anything. But if you're able to do it, I would suggest you do it because what it does, it works your entire core, not just your legs, all right? So there's several ways you can do lunges in place, or you can do walking lunges right here. These are harder, right? Much harder to keep your balance, right? Now, if you really want to keep it up, I'm not around now, if you really want to keep it up, you can do jumping lunges. But I always suggest that if you're able to do 10 or 12 feet of walking lunges, and it's easy for you, all right? So jumping lunges. That's a way to add some intensity, add some cardio to your strength training. Okay? All right.
Della, there's a question. If the lunges are good for your hips.
Yes, because it works your glutes, okay? It works your glutes and your hamstrings, which is that whole, what is called a posterior chain. But it also works your core. You've got to hold that core tight. And that's probably true for any kind of exercise you do. Your core strength is going to be the most important thing. If you're all loosey-goosey, it's very hard to activate those muscles. But there's no such thing as spot reduction, okay? Believe me, I tried to just, I have a belly, I got some jiggle, I got, whatever. There's no such thing. It's overall. You have to do it all. Okay. Towel arm curl. Again, if you don't have dumbbells or weight machines or whatever, there's no reason why you can't do a curl. So you get your regular towel like that, and I'm going to put it underneath one knee, stand against the wall, hold my abs tight. All right, I'm going to bring it up like this. I'm holding really tight. Use your leg to pull it down hard. Keep that tension by pulling it hard on your leg and then try to pull the towel up. Now, obviously, how hard you are pulling down with your leg will determine the intensity of that curl. Okay? And you can change your leg that you put under to get a little bit different angle, but it's not necessary because you are working both arms. Okay? So far, we haven't used any equipment except for stuff that you would have in your house anyway, right? And I'm working up a sweat, just demonstrating this. All right, laying glute bridges. Now this one, somebody asked about their hips. This is a great one. Now, normally, I would use a barbell on a platform that I'm higher up to do this, but you can do this from the ground as well with no weights, right? And all it is, lay down. Again, make sure you got something underneath your tailbone. Do you see me? Or just switch the thing, hold on.
We can see pretty clearly.
Okay,
Yeah.
just a little bit more. All right, so what you're gonna do is bring your hips up as high as you possibly can and squeeze your glutes hard, right? So, see how high my hips are? And the fact that my back is completely straight, this is all straight, you want to be like this, and you don't want to be too like that, right? Your legs are straight out. The point is, squeeze your glutes at the top, hold it for a few seconds, and then let go. That one really works your glutes. So, I have pretty big hips, so that one's really good for that. I'm gonna get a drink of water. So we just have a few more. So Supermans. We did a lot of ab core work. And what that does, it creates an imbalance with your back. So you want to do Supermans, which are basically back extensions, right? So in here, keep forgetting. So you want to have your arms out in front of you, legs behind you, and again, you're going to squeeze your glutes, bring your legs and your arms up at the same time, and hold it. And you're going to feel it right here in your lower back, but not in a bad way, all right? There's a good way, meaning that the muscles are being activated, and in a bad way if there's pain, right? There should never be any pain, but you should feel some tension, because otherwise, what have you done, right? Okay, Superman's, all right, the last one, laying leg races from the floor. So there's a couple of scales. I'll show you the regular way. This one actually works. You know that a lot of women have what we call the PUFA. I've got that. That works this part. So the crunches, the sit-ups, all of that works the upper abs, but the leg raises work the lower abs. All right. So I like to put my hand underneath my hips for support. All right. The regular way is to bring both legs up at the same time. And then bring it down at the same time. Go all the way down, all the way up. A scale version of that would be to bring the knees up first and then raise your leg. Bring the knees down and take it down. Bring the knees up, raise up, bring the knees down, and the legs down. Another scale would be one leg at a time. So you could and the same thing with the knee. Bring one knee up, up, down, up. Okay. But that works on the lower abs. And so that's pretty much 10 movements that you can do. What I like to do, because if I'm working out at home and if I'm not using any weights, I like to add a little bit of intensity to the workout. So I have a couple of jump ropes here. And so let's say we're doing Monday's workout, which is, hold on, some air squats, arm curls, leg raises, 3 sets of 8 reps for each one. If I was doing that, I would do 25 or 30 jump ropes in between each set and work up. And I do that when I'm doing my weightlifting too. Do the same thing. I'll do overhead presses, 8 reps for a set. And then I go jump rope for 25, 30, sometimes 50, just depending on how intense I want it to be. Now, if you're starting out, though, I would take 1 to 2 minute rest in between your sets. I use my rest time to do jump ropes or, get on the treadmill or something, but you definitely should take some rest time because here's why. Your muscles, when you're doing strength training, will use up glycogen, right? That's your energy fuel. It takes a little while for the muscles to reabsorb some glycogen so you can do the next movement. So you don't want to go from one set to the next without some kind of rest period to allow the muscles to get their glycogen back. Because if you don't do that, you're not really going to maximize your potential, right? If I'm back squatting, I don't know, 150 pounds or something on a set, I don't give it a rest, I can't make that 150 pound the next time. I have to wait. And so the same thing even with body weight exercises. You still have to take that rest time, all right? 1 to 2 minutes is good enough if you're starting out. And when you get a little bit better, you can shorten that rest period. So here's how you build progression with body weight. The only way you can do that, there's 3 ways to do that. You can increase the number of sets. You can increase the number of reps per set, and you can decrease your rest time. Those are the only 3 ways that you can do progression. It's not like when you're working with weights, you just add more weight to the load, right? So, but you can definitely build progression by either increasing the sets, increasing the reps, reducing the rest time. Okay? So that was pretty much all that I was sharing for today on exercises. Wondering if anybody followed along with me.
Well, there were a few questions that I wanted to share with you, Bella.
Okay.
Let's see. Eleanor just asked, Eleanor Markson asks, what else do you recommend rest time instead of jumping rope?
So it depends on where you are in your fitness level. Okay. If you are a beginner and you're just now starting, rest time is rest time. I have a bench here and I go and sit down for a minute. Okay. If you are looking for intensity, looking to make progression, you can do all kinds of things. You can do some calisthenics, like whatever this is. You can jump rope, you can do anything, but don't do it for your entire rest time. So let's say your rest time is 2 minutes. Maybe you do something, you go walk on a treadmill for a minute, right? Or you jump rope for a minute, which is a long time. I would do that for 30 seconds, maybe. But your rest time is your rest time.
And then in a related question, let's see. Oh gosh. Maureen Karan asks, do you do weight training every day or take a day off in between?
I do weight training 3 times a week. And then I do sprint workouts at the track 1 day a week. So I try to work out 4 days a week. And it's really, really important to have not only rest time between your exercises, but rest days where you're not doing, and your rest days can be active rest days, like going for a walk, right? It doesn't have to be completely static, but you should definitely have a rest day or a couple of rest days a week. I try to have 3. And especially, and I want to talk about that too, I'll be 65 and my body, even though I'm really active and pretty fit, I have noticed that my body is a little bit different now than it was 5 or 6 years ago. It takes me a little bit more to recover. If you worked out correctly, you're gonna feel a little soreness. It used to be, I could get rid of that soreness in half a day or whatever. Now it's taken me a day or so for it to stop being sore. So I know my body's telling me I need to recover.
Okay, great. And I'm hoping that answered your questions for those of you who asked those particular questions. But you can go ahead and use the reactions icon now to raise your hand.
Judy has her hands up, Judy Morris.
Mm-hmm.
And somebody else too,
Sherry
Sherry.
also. Yeah. We have Sherry and Judy so far.
Yeah, I saw a Feldenkrais YouTube video that related to doing the squats using sitting up and down out of a chair, that if you just can't go all the way down without flopping, he had a friend who couldn't sit down without flopping. And so he had her to stack some cushions up and practice that way. And then when it became real easy to do the whole set, then took a pillow away so it was a little bit lower. And when that became real easy, until you could do the whole way.
That's a really, really good idea. I have a really good friend that I was training a couple of years ago, and she was very heavy and had knee problems. So she came to my house and I trained her, and I have like a sofa chair. And that's exactly what I did. I stacked some pillows but here's the thing. You want to meet yourself where you are, wherever that is, right? Don't try to force yourself into a position or into something that is going to, you end up getting hurt, okay? Or like flopping into the chair, okay, you're not gonna get hurt, but you're also not going to get the benefit of what this exercise is supposed to do and that muscles that it's supposed to activate. So, get rid of we go to CrossFit, they say, well, get rid of your ego, right? Do what you can.
And then Sherry has her hand raised too.
Yeah, I do 3 sets of everything I do. And I kind of want to do the first one as good as the second and the third. I don't do, like exercises or other things or walking between. have you ever considered doing stretching and breath work between your sets? I find that helpful.
I have not. So this is, I think it's personal, right? I have lots of friends that do yoga. I have tried to do yoga, and and it's beautiful, and they've
I
got
don't
great
do yoga.
benefit from it. But yoga has some breath work and things like that. But for me, I get very bored. I don't, I'm not a very patient person. And I think that things like breath work, stretching, whatever, they're all great.
Just a little bit. It's not
I
a
just get
long,
bored.
it's not a long thing. I mean, just a few little stretches and then a few deep breathing. And I find that it allows you to do your next set a lot better. All three will be terrific. And as far as weights go, I do hand weights as well. Every other day, you have to leave one in between.
Right. I mean, definitely one of the things I didn't talk about in my intro is, but before I started, I had my bone density measures were right at borderline of having osteoporosis. My mom had osteoporosis and had to take.
My mom did too.
Fosamax, right? I just got so I do what is called a DEXA scan.
I do it every year.
Yeah, I do it every couple of years. My bone density right now is of a 20-year-old. I have a maximum.
You know, of all the exercises that you showed us, the one that for me does it the best, I don't have osteoporosis because of it, or your bridging. The bridging exercise, the best for that.
Oh yeah, it's great. It's great.
Okay.
There's a couple more hands up.
Conti, I see your hand raised.
Yeah, first of all, I'd like to tell her you're doing a fantastic job with the presentation that you're doing. And I really laugh at you when you're doing the push-up, because a few years back, I had a knee replacement on my right knee, and I had my left knee, I had 3 rods in. So I couldn't get down on the floor like you were talking about. But I found out I was going against the wall, but I was doing them wrong because I had my hands stretched out. Or I would have them in doing that, But when I looked at you, you said, okay, then I can see the difference already of what you are speaking about. But when I'm working out, I lift weight. If I do a set of 185, I would sit there for about 45 seconds to a minute to let my body recoup. Like you said, I'm not trying to repeat against anyone. Because what I did once, I did the set, then I rested about 10 seconds, tried to do the set again, only could get by 5.
Yeah.
Because what you said about the muscle.
The glycogen has not re-entered your muscle.
Right, and I
enjoy it.
Right, but like you said, you take your time and do it. Now, normal when I'm at home, I have weights at home. I like to warm up at home before I go to the gym. Whatever set I do at home, I'll quit then out for about 45 seconds. I'll just do a stretch, like you see my hand moving now. I just move my body, but not doing anything. Then I go to the next set.
And breathing. She doesn't have that.
Each set that I do, I always end up stretching up, bending over, just relax and keep my muscles warm. But again, you're doing a fantastic job.
Well, thank you.
I love it. And I learned a lot from it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I think we got time for maybe 2 or 3 more questions.
Yeah, I see Carol Patterson has her hand up.
Hi, Carol.
Hi, I tried doing the workout. I'm probably going to be sore. Got the handout and I printed it out. And I see on day 2, you mentioned arm dips, and I don't see them in the list of 10. So I wondered if
Wait a minute, hold on a second. Day 2. Oh, yeah. Sorry about that. Let me just show you that real quick. Okay. All right. Hold on. Let me get back to my thing. Okay.
Get there. Wait a minute. What's your planet? It said they got a list of that.
So I switched out something. So an arm dip, you get on the bench or a chair, could be a chair, it doesn't matter. And then you come out like this, right? And then Go down as far as you can. See my arms? If you want to make it hard, push your legs out. Okay, that's the dip. I think I switched out. I wanted to do it moves the same, impacts the same muscle as the tricep extension. That's why. And I took it out of the list because I thought, that's kind of hard. So just switch tricep extensions for that if you don't want to do the arm dips. Sorry about that.
Thanks, Stella. And now we have Desiree. I see your hand raised.
Yes, you were just talking about osteoporosis, and that's the question I was going to ask, if how beneficial these exercises are, because last year I did a bone density test and I have osteoporosis in my arm, left arm. So are these exercises beneficial to
So here's the thing about bone density, right? Calcium, we all know calcium is what the bone needs to become stronger. You know, the more calcium, the better. But here's the problem with that. You take in calcium, but if you don't ask your body to do something with that calcium, such as weight training. So you're basically saying, okay, I need you bones to lift this thing or push this thing or whatever, and the body will react and take in the calcium that it needs so that your bones and your muscle can do what you're asking to do. But if you just take medications or just take Fosamax or something like that, you're still not telling your body to do something so that you can use this stuff.
Amen.
So any kind of weight-bearing exercise is good for bone density.
for strengthen the bones? I see. The other thing, when you were doing the exercise using that the mat, you rolled up the mat and you put it against the wall and you were sliding up and down. You said
that's a foam roller. It wasn't a mat, it was a foam roller. But you can use a ball. You can use a small beach ball or a basketball.
I have one of those exercise balls, like the one you have behind you.
The med ball.
The one that you have on the shelf there. Is that
right?
What you're
Yeah, you can use that.
You can use that. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You just need something to roll. That's all.
Right. Thank you. Great class.
Great. Thank you.
Yeah, you said the bridge is the best exercise for osteoporosis of the hip. What about the spine? What's the best for that?
I think somebody else said the bridge exercise was the best for osteoporosis. And what I also said was there is no such thing as spot exercising or spot reduction or spot building. There's no such thing. That's why I give a laundry list of different exercises that you should do on a consistent basis, because there is no bone or muscle or whatever that is not connected to another part of your body, right? So if you're talking about your back, well, your back muscles goes into your glutes, right? And your glutes goes into your hamstring. So there's no way to actually just isolate any particular thing. You have to do it all in a combination.
This was great, Della. You did a fantastic job, but also to add to what you've already talked about, strength and things like that, but a lot of these exercises that you demonstrated are great for mobility. We got to keep moving if we're going to, be active. And these exercises are great for mobility. You don't need weight. You could walk through a lot of the exercises that you did, and you're just going to feel better. If you're stiff one day, do some of these exercises and you'll feel much better. But thank you. This was great. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Kathy.
Hey,
Della?
Della,
Della, I'm
I
Yeah.
just
sorry.
wanted to say for those people who don't want to use a chair or a bench or afraid that they'll move, I do those arm dips using the bottom 2 steps of my stairs.
That's a great idea.
Way I
Yeah.
put my arms on the 2nd step and I touch my bum to the 1st. So then
That's fantastic. Yeah.
yeah, also for the wall things, you can use a yoga exercise ball. I've done that
Mhm.
if you have one.
Right. Yeah. And the whole point of this is you don't have to go and buy specialty equipment, right? You can use whatever you have available. I happen to have a PVC pipe, but I couldn't find it this morning. It was in my garage. And I had my husband try to find it and he couldn't find it. So I was going to unscrew my, the handle from my broom. Didn't matter, right? Use what you have.